Hey guys, Top Tier Gaming here, and today I'm coming at you with a Weiss Schwarz book deck profile. And if this looks sort of similar to another game's online simulator, it's actually not. This is Weiss Schwarz book, so any similarities here are just ignore them, because this is obviously Weiss Schwarz book, the online simulator for Weiss Schwarz. Putting that all aside, so this is how this is going to work. Over here, we have the actual deck all lined up in one pretty picture so you can see it. But if that pretty picture isn't exactly very pleasing, above me, as I go over the cards, the high-resolution image of the card will pop up, and the text will pop up, and I will explain the card, why we're running it, and that is how the deck profile is going to go. Of course, I would love to have all the actual physical cards, but there's no way I can get all the physical cards for every deck profile I'm going to do on this channel, and this is the best way to do it, and trust me, I would also rather have the physical cards myself, because making this image and uploading all of these pictures into this Weiss Schwarz dueling simulator software, totally not dueling book for Yu-Gi-Oh!, is a pain, but I do it so we can put some videos on this channel. So anyway, I'm going to get right into the deck profile, starting with the level zeros. And starting with level 0, we have 4 of this yellow Kagero. So the main reason we choose this runner over the red runner is we actually just need the yellow color fix. I do think this runner has a lot more merit over the other one though. The other one, only running to the rightmost slot, can be kind of hindering in a lot of situations. If your opponent's really good, it gives them an opportunity to play around it, even though she is big. Bigger than this runner anyway, but this runner is big on your turn. She becomes 3k, which I think is really good because when you're tri-laning at level 0, it gives you sort of a beat stick, and when it's just your best starter card on defense, you know, it's still a runner in its own regard. It's not a mill runner, so that means, you know, you never have to fear hitting a climax off of it, which is great, and that's why we are running 4 of this Kagero runner over the other runner in the set. Next up is 4 Inazuma. So this card is sort of like the Ricky effect for the deck. It's just a really powerful consistency card. I'm choosing to play this over the other cards that are hit in Kantai, just because this one adds so much consistency to the deck, getting your level 1 combos, just being able to +1 on the spot. She does have a really annoying effect that she rests herself if you top check not a ship girl, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not the worst thing in the world. You are playing her for just the sheer power she brings for the deck, so having a little hindrance, while annoying, is definitely worth it because this card is a pivotal point in the overall strategy and getting to your key pieces as quickly as possible. Next up, for Akatsuki, not much explanation needed here. It's one of the best consistency cards in all of Kantai Collection. You're always going to be running 4 of this. Gets through your deck, gets specific pieces, hand filters, just an overall amazing, powerful card that you are definitely running in Kantai, so no need for any explanation. Next up, 4 of this Zaradu Brainstormer. So if you take a quick look at my level 0 lineup, you'll see that Amagi is not in here, which might be kind of surprising, especially because I mentioned how I need yellow color fix. But I feel this Zaradu Brainstormer actually sort of takes the role that Amagi sort of played for the deck. She doesn't do the exact same thing, obviously, but she's a Brainstormer you want to keep in your back row. She has a startup effect, which is really good later. Brainstorm is a startup effect, so that's actually works with another card in the deck. It takes the role of Amagi in the way that I know what 2 cards I want in my back row going past, like, into my level 1 game, and there's just no room for her in the back row, and this Zaradu Brainstormer is the plus engine we're going to have at the level 0. So Amagi's role is sort of not necessarily needed when Zaradu's sort of replacing her. As, like, the first time I feel like Kantai has actually gotten a really, really efficient Brainstormer for the deck, so we are definitely playing 3 of her because she is very good. Next up, we have 2 of this Jinsu Climax Searcher. So this card is just very helpful in making sure that you have your level 1 Climax combo if you need it, if you didn't happen to draw it. It is a book, it's not a gold bar or like a pants, so there's no real true way to get it by itself. You need to hard draw it, or your other pants can get it because we are running the pants combo. This is a Nelson Touch profile. So, yeah, there are ways to get it without this Climax Search, but she's just so good at allowing you to get whatever climax you need at the time, and I feel like that's too valuable at your level 0 game. It's not like it's valuable to use it at your level 0 game necessarily, but just like it's too valuable as a level 0 not to run, in my opinion, because I don't want to be caught not having set up perfectly when I could just be playing this and almost not even have to worry because this card will allow me to get which climax I need when I need it. So this card to me was a definite 2 of, and I feel like she has a place in every Kantai Collection deck. So that's it for level 0s, on to level 1, starting with 4 of this level 1 Zuiho. So this is an interesting combo. It's the level 1 Climax combo for the deck, and it's interesting in the sense that the 4 cards next to it, which is a Zuiho B, they sort of change into each other constantly, which is, I think, really interesting. But the main thing about this Climax combo is it pluses you and thins your deck, which is really cool. And then it changes into a wall, which can be really hard for your opponent to deal with, and in turn sort of getting you more advantage. I think the main thing to talk about here is why I'm choosing to run this Climax combo out of all the other level 1 Climax combos Kantai has. So in the 5th set alone, it got this green card that on reverse of an opponent's character, it blind stocks you 2 cards. I feel like that card is alright for the deck strategy, especially this deck strategy, because you want 9 stock going into your level 3. But something about blind stocking 2 cards doesn't really sit with me. There's too much variation in how you can sort of hinder yourself going into your next refresh if you use it at the wrong time. It's more set up than it actually seems, because you want to use it when you're not having so many climaxes in deck, which is very RNG based. And then why I'm not using Prince Eugen, even though I really love Gold Bar as a level 1 Climax combo. Prince Eugen, you have to pay a stock. It's more like an invites to party than it is a Shimakaze. And that really annoys me, because the idea of the deck is that you get 9 stock going into level 3. So Prince Eugen didn't really fit the mold. I feel like Shimakaze herself has been kind of outclassed. I don't really want to run a 2K1, so that's why I'm choosing to run this combo. It's really, really cool because you change into this big 7-5 on defense, 8K if you have your assist. And on offense she's kind of weak, but she doesn't need to reverse your opponent's character, which is great. And she can actually get big based off the Zuiho B, who can actually change into her on your turn while giving her a 3K power boost. So the fact that they work together is great. I was running 3 of the Zuiho B, but I wasn't getting her enough. Like, I want to make sure that I have a Zuiho B for every Climax combo I use, because changing into her is just so much value because it's free. All you need to do is have her in your waiting room, which is amazing. And she kind of puts her in your waiting room by yourself, the smaller one, puts the bigger one in the waiting room because her effect is milling cards from your deck essentially. So it's just a very powerful sort of change, and that's why it's the level 1 Climax combo I chose to run in the deck. So next up is 2 of this yellow 1-0 generic 1500 backup. So a big question would be why I'm running this over the vastly superior red one that just came out. That's a 1-0 2K just backup, and that is simply for the color fix. Honestly, the red one is vastly superior, as I said, but I feel like the deck wasn't running enough yellow without running this card. So I'm making the sacrifice of the 500 power boost on this backup to run the yellow fix, because the color fix to me is more important after having tested this build quite a few times. And then after that we play 3 Compass, pretty much the most like notorious card in Kantai. Recently I feel like people have been sort of on the fence on whether you run Compass or not, and I can see why. If you're playing well all game, then you can experience sort of diminishing returns in the sense that you can go multiple climaxes off 1 Compass, or if you're compressed enough you might not need Compass. My idea with Compass is, even though that's true in some sense, there are times where you could be so compressed and your deck can still try to help you lose. So I don't want to give Weiss the opportunity to beat me. I want to lose to the opponent if I'm going to lose. And Compass is a card that pretty much allows me to fluctuate my deck in a way where my chances of losing are decreased a lot, and I don't let Weiss try to tinker with that. So to me, Compass is still 100% worth the run every time, and I am playing 3 for that reason. On to level 2, just kidding, there are 0, because for our level 2 game we actually go into a level 3, which is this Ashkent. So she's sort of a cool card. I don't necessarily feel like she's the most important thing. She is your early play, and she is what sort of allows you not to be hindered by your opponent having level 2s while you don't, because it can sort of suck. But she's not pivotal in any sense, if you kind of get what I'm getting at. Like, I don't play her often, but I want her there just in case I need her. I don't want to be left without an option at level 2 if I want to play her. And the reason I don't play her often is actually just because she's stock intensive, even though she's technically a 3-1. I really want to go into level 3 having 9 stock, and I want to drop the full Nelson, and I want to end my opponent right then and there. She doesn't really assist that core strategy, but she is there as an option. I wouldn't take her out of the deck because that option is very important. I think you may be able to substitute her with the level 2 Z3 that is sort of like an anti-change sort of deal, where she is really good at combating level 3s your opponent has. But for right now, I think Ashkent is probably the best option, and she's the option I would go with pretty much every time. Next up, we start getting into the juicy part of level 3, starting with 4 Musashi. So she's just the best game ender in Kantai, especially after the 5th set in my opinion, because they gave so many cards in the set that just facilitate how Musashi ends the game. So it's pretty much a standard classic to be running this in Kantai, so she doesn't need much explanation. I feel like more explanation for Musashi actually comes in when we get to the USS Nelson. So let's get straight into it. This card is what made me want to build the Nelson Touch version of this deck. Obviously, I think this card is so cool, and it's actually super, super powerful. So pretty much it has a Climax combo with the pants, and if you have the Climax combo, and you have a full field, you can pay 3 stock and rest Nelson to give all your characters the effect that they can inflict X damage. X is equal to their soul. So you also have to play the Climax, so that gives all your characters +1 soul. So it means all your level 3s are swinging 4/3 without even attacking, and this is where Musashi becomes broken. So from what I've seen of the Japanese players sort of getting their hands on this deck and using it, you know, Nelson gives Musashi the effect as an ability of her own to deal the damage. So if that damage is cancelled, from what I've gathered, Musashi effects actually procs, and you use your Musashi effect to deal more damage. It means Musashi gets up to 3 attacks in a turn, and that is crazy because when you go full Nelson is what I'm calling it, because there's a fighting or wrestling move called the full Nelson already, and it just makes sense. Because your full Nelson is 1 Nelson in the middle, 2 Musashis on the left and right part of your stage. You get your Nelson to deal 3 damage, your Musashi deals 3 damage. If it's cancelled, you use Musashi effect. If it's not, then you still get to attack with Musashi. You're getting pretty much like up to 7 attacks in 1 turn, and they're big hits. So you can actually kill your opponent from like 2-6, 2-5 very, very easily. They have to have perfect cancels just about. And it's just such a strong like combination with Musashi. Like, I feel like these two work so well together. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is incredible. I want to build the Nelson Touch version. I think it's one of the coolest versions of Kantai out right now. I feel like you could also play the new red that also assists Musashi. There's so many builds of Kantai having 5 sets that you can do so much with it. But this is the version I wanted to build for Climax Combo, or not for Climax Combos, for your Climaxes, 4 of the book and 4 of the pants. Pretty simple, the book combos with the Zuiho, and the pants combos with the USS Nelson. That's it for the deck profile. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments. I'll be sure to get back to you on why I've chosen what I've chosen to play, why I've chose what I've chosen to play. Words are hard. Ignore that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like, and if you enjoy my content, enjoy what I do here, feel free to check out the rest of my content and subscribe. This was Top Tier Gaming. Bye, YouTube.